Hello everyone, Fiona Whitten from Oakford Crafts here. I trust you've been having a good day on a, well, here it's a very fine Wednesday morning, but I know some of you are, well, I think some of you are all over the place, all over the world, but so I hope wherever you are, the weather is treating you well. Anybody in Australia, I'm hoping that you are surviving the terrible floods and things, but I'm going to share today a fun fold card that Trisha shared with us on one of our Monday makes with the acorns. So every Monday, well, we try and do it every Monday, we have a get together on Zoom, and someone, usually me, comes up with an idea, and whoever's holding the doing the presentation then just talks everybody through how to make a card. So Trisha did this not Monday gone, but the one before. I believe it's called a Seesaw Fun Fold card, but we're not too sure about that one. Trisha said I could call it whatever I liked, as long as I was polite, but I think I'll just stick with the Seesaw Fun Fold. Seems to be a lot nicer. So this is the one that I actually made when Trisha was talking us through it. So I'm going to, as I said, share with you how to make this. Just bear with me a second, because I'm just trying to make sure that I am live, and I appear to be, which is good, because I'm away. Oh, hi Trisha. There we go. Right, okay. So this is the card. It fits in a normal C6 envelope, so you don't need to worry about having to make an envelope or anything like that. Obviously, how thick you make it depends on what embellishments and things that you actually do. So when it's flat, it looks like that, and then when you open it, you can see it has this sort of, I don't know what sort of movement you would call it. So from the top, it would look like this, she says, and I can't actually see what's going on. There we go. So it would look like this, and then you have space on the back if you want to put another panel, then you can then write your sentiment. So I have written up the instructions. Trisha very kindly gave us all a diagram, and I've committed it to my laptop and actually drawn up a diagram. So this is what it looks like, and I will post this later on the, actually it's going to go up on my blog, just so you know, but you will be able to print it and download it should you want to. So to make it, this one I'm not going to use the same paper and embellishments and stamp set. I'm going to go with the Beauty of Friendship. So just so you know, this is what I'm going to use. I'm going to use the Beauty of Friendship stamp set, which has a coordinating set of dies called Beautiful Tree dies. They're not all in here because I actually used some earlier. So we have tree, so we have a large tree. There is a smaller tree, like that. These are designed to make the canopies, different sizes, and then there's a smaller canopy for the smaller tree. I'm going to keep those ones out because I did use them. And then there is also a little bird. Well, actually there's two little birds, but they're all on one die, and they're really cute. So that's what I'm using. Now the bundle is actually one of those that is available this month with an additional 10% off. So you'll find it in the annual catalogue. But instead of it's bundled in the catalogue for $47.50, it's actually $42.25 at the moment. That's pounds sterling, just so that you are aware. So that's the stamp set and dies I'm using. I'm also using the Beauty of the Earth paper. which is also in the annual catalogue, and this is designed to coordinate with the stamp set and dies too. I'm trying to keep it sort of vaguely summery, springish, so I'm actually going to use this paper, and I'm also going to use the reverse side of it. It kind of looks a bit wintry to my mind, but once I cut it all up, I don't think you'll notice that it's kind of like that. I think you'll just notice the blue more than anything else. So that's the paper, so it looks like this. So it's half a sheet here. And then that's the other side. As I said, it looks kind of like blue trees, but by the time I've cut it all up, I don't think you're going to notice that. I hope. Anyway, so this is the paper I'm going to use. I have my instructions, which I'm going to put over here so that I can read them. The one thing I do need is some cardstock. Can't make up my mind if I'm going to use Mossy Meadow or the Night of Navy. I would like to use Misty Moonlight, but having got here, I realised I don't actually have any Misty Moonlight with me. So I'm going to stick with the Night of Navy. Hopefully you'll be able to see what I am doing. Okay, all right, so let's get started. So the first thing I need to do is I need to cut, and I'm not going, on this portion, I'm not going to do here's one I made earlier. I am actually going to sit here and cut it. So we're going to need to start with a piece of cardstock that measures 10.5 centimetres, that is, not inches. So I need to cut this at 10.5 centimetres, so I'm just lining it up with that here on my trimmer. And I'm going to cut all the way down and put the other piece away. Let's see, you can't probably see. Let's see if I can move this so that you can see that I am actually cutting it where I'm supposed to be cutting it. There we go, I think. And then I need to turn it, and I'm going to cut it at 18.5 centimetres. Like so. So I've got a square that I don't need. Now, on the instructions that I've drawn up, thanks to Tricia, I've drawn, so there are these blue dashed lines here are where you score, and the red lines are where you cut. So my suggestion is that you start with the 2 pieces of scoring, which is at 2 centimetres either end. So you can either use this 2 centimetre mark here, or you can use that 2 centimetre mark there. It's really up to you. I like using the ones on the right hand side so that I have my card butted completely up to the main part of the top there, and it makes it a bit more stable. So I need to trim it at 2 centimetres, and then I'm going to turn it and I'm going to repeat. So I've then got my 2 centimetre scores either end. Okay, so you've 2 centimetres from one end is on the long side, 2 centimetres there from that end, 2 centimetres there from that end. Then I'm going to turn it so that I have the shorter end at the top. Now this is where we're going to cut. So I want it to go from that 2 centimetre line, score line there, all the way down to that 2 centimetre score line there. And this is where the trimmer comes in really handy. So again, I am going to line it up with the 2 centimetre mark here. Make sure that it's level here. And then I'm going to use my trimming blade, or cutting blade I should say, and I'm going to have to stand up for this because I need to be able to see from the top. And I don't know if you can see from here, but there is 2 lines here, like little grooves. So you line that up with the score line, and then you move it up till it's in line with the score line at the top. And then that hasn't quite made it. Let's try that. Yep, so that's fine. So I've got my cut there. And I'm going to turn it again, and again line it up with the 2 centimetre mark here, and then I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. So I'm going to come down from that score line to this score line. So I've got 2 cuts that or 2 centimetres from the top and the bottom. So that's all the cutting we need to do. Right, so we have a little bit more scoring. There's only 3 more score lines that we need to do. Pretty straightforward. So this time I am going to use this side of the trimmer, and I need to line it up with the 4 centimetre mark. And I'm going to score just from the top down to the cut and from the bottom up to the cut line. So I'm going to make sure that I move my blade completely out the way, because the last thing I need to do is to cut it all the way through. So I'm just going to score, and again you can use the marks here on the scoring blade. So I've got 2 score lines in line with the 4 centimetres. Now I'm going to turn it again, and on the opposite end, and again I'm going to line it up with the 4 centimetre mark, but this time I'm going to score between the 2 cuts. So again I need to stand up so that I can see that I have my mark where I want it. I can't stand completely over this because the phone, so the camera is in the way. Yeah, so that's fine. So that's it. So I have now done all my cutting and my scoring on my card. So I have a 2 centimetre score line going all the way down at both ends. I have 2 cuts that go from the 2 centimetre score lines, or 2 centimetres down, 2 centimetres up, and then I have on one side, one end I should say, 4 just between the top and the score line and the bottom and the cut line, sorry, and then this one is just 4 again from that end that just goes in the middle. So that's all the cutting and the scoring. I hope you can see that. Okay, so that's that bit done. So now we need to cut the paper that we're going to use to decorate this. And what I would suggest you do is when you actually come to do it, you want to cut and glue at the same time. So because we're going to sort of glue it all in order so that you know what's going on. So for these 2 pieces, we're going to start with these 2 vertical lines. So we know they're 2 centimetres wide, so I want to, and that's 10.5 centimetres. And what I usually do is I like to make my panels 1/2 centimetre smaller. So I need to cut it at 1.5 by 10. And I need 2 of them, 1 for each end. Hi Jackie, I hope you're well. I just noticed your comment. So I'm just simply going to cut everything for the time being. I'm going to go down the whole length of this because I'm not too worried about whether the design continues all the way across. So I've got 1.5 centimetre, and then I need 2 lots at 10. So that's 2 at 10. So they are going to go on that panel and that panel. Probably might help to actually have the leaves the right way up so that it doesn't look so odd. Now I would say that you cut and then glue at the same time, but I'm not going to do that simply because for me it's just going to be a lot easier just to go for it, and then I'll glue it in a second. Right, so we've done those 2 ends. So then we're going to do these 2, the top 2 and the bottom panel. So we know that they're 2 centimetres from there to the cut and from there to the cut, and they are also 12 centimetres from there to there. So I need to cut it at 1.5 by 11.5. This way I what shall we see? Maybe I'll go for the darker. Trying to see what I've got left. This piece is not quite big enough to go in there, so I'm going to just cut 2 lots of, I can go with a paler I think. want to be so in your face that it's obviously trees. So it's 2 lots of 1.5 wide. And then it needs to be 11.5 long. We have one piece that's going to go here. Oh, it should be 11.5 long. Maybe I miscalculated. Where's my ruler? I thought I added it all up properly. Oh, it's 12.5. Oops, sorry. So that should actually be 1.5 by 12. Start again. I will correct that. I was wondering why it didn't look like it fitted. So, let's see, we're going to put... I'm trying to work so that you can see what's going where. And that's going to go on there. That's better. These 2 are going to go on here, making sure they're the right way up, like so. Then I need another one that's 1.5 by 12 to go here. Don't need that little bit. So let's go 1.5 by 12. So that's the piece to go here. Okay, now these little pieces here, you could actually cut the squares to go here. So they need to be 1.5 by 1.5 centimetres. So I'm just going to see, let's see, that's 3, yep, that works. So I'm just going to use those scraps up just to make sure then I've got that. A little bit fiddly, but hey. Okay, so I'm going to put those here. Double check. 1.5. Just they don't kind of look square, but it says they are. So that's that. Now, do I want some more blue here, or do I want to go with that? Or I could just simply find another piece. I was trying to keep it blues and greens, but let's see what else we have. Could go slightly different and use up all sorts of scrap in here. As I said, I don't really want to go too autumnal. I think that one actually will fit because that's got all sorts on. So I'm going to put this onto that large piece there. So I need a piece there, and I better double check this, seeing as I don't seem to have written my instructions correctly. Now what did I do with my ruler? There it is. So this piece was probably, that's 12.5. So it needs to be, and that is 6.5. So I need 6 by 12. 12. Actually, I think I'm going to cut the 6 first. That way I've got a much bigger piece left over. So 6 by 12. And that's going to go in that panel there. And then I need another piece to go in here, which needs to be 6 by 1.5. So I cut that. And that's going to go there, and that's a continuation of that piece, so that works. So I've got not quite what I had originally planned, but that's the beauty of paper crafting. You can sit and you can play and design, so long as you haven't glued anything. That's the main thing. Is obviously once you've glued, you can't change it. Now I just need my glue, which is here, and I'm just going to glue these pieces on. Now the back, it's up to you. You don't have to do too much to it. I mean, you can, if you want to, repeat these on the other side, but that kind of makes it a bit heavy on the old postage. So you might not want to do it. You might just want to stick with keeping it to the front, and then you can obviously just put your panel on the back to put your greeting. Just bear with me a second whilst I just quickly do this. So that bit. That bit. The reason I didn't think to use this piece first, because I just did think it was maybe a little bit too autumnal because of the browns and things, but I think we'll get away with it. That cinnamon cider that's on there is one of the 2020 to 2022 in colours that's going to be retiring in beginning of May, as is the Misty Moonlight. I'm sorry to see the Misty Moonlight go, because I really like that colour. It's a really nice shade of blue. Cinnamon cider is one of those that's, take it or leave it. I'm not too worried about that. But the Misty Moonlight, I would like to see us keep it, but you never know. You never know. We've not heard anything about what's going on with the colours, but I'm at this precise moment in time, on the basis that we haven't been given any hints yet. There's not going to be any changes this year other than the outgoing in colours and some new in colours, obviously. So we'll have 5 new in colours come the beginning of May, and I'll get to see them towards the end of this month, actually, thinking about it, which is exciting. Right, so there we go. So those are all my pieces now glued on. And now the fun part comes. So we're going to then fold all these school lines. So the 2 outer lines, these ones here at 2 centimetres, you're going to mountain fold them. And by mountain fold, I mean that it's going to go up like that, like a mountain. So those 2 are going to mountain fold. I just need to find my... And you're going to fold them and you're going to burnish them good and proper. So that's that one. So basically you're folding them away from you. Okay. Now these 2, you're going to value fold, which means you're going to make a V. So you just kind of want to pinch them like that and give them a good burnish too. And it will come together once you've got all the pieces, all the score lines actually folded and done. And then this last one here, again, that is going to be a valley fold. So it's going to go like that. And as you can see, all of a sudden, the card goes the way it should. So basically, it's going to go like this. And it looks like that when it's shut. It's up to you how you decorate it. Obviously, you don't have to use this paper, whatever paper that you have. But what you do need to do is you want to make a panel to go on here now before you start decorating too far. So we're going to cut a piece of basic white that is the same size as this piece. So it's, I seem to remember we had 6 by 12. I just need to change my, it's there, that's 12, and that's There we go. So I found a piece of basic white. Oops. Throw my glue around. I'm going to cut this in half so that I know I have a half sheet that can be used for whatever, and I'm going to cut it in half again so that I'm only going to use a quarter up. And I said it was going to be 6 by 12, didn't I? So I'm going to cut it there at 6, because that is only going to be 10.5, so I need to go this way. 6 by 12, like that. And then that panel will sit on here, like so. If you want to decorate it, then decorate it now before you do anything else. I might just put some paper on it. It doesn't need to be too big. I think I might just use a centimetre of this. So if I just cut a centimetre, like that, and then I'm going to glue it along the bottom, or I could glue it on the ends. Or the top. I think I might just glue it on the end, because then that means that there's more space to write something. Oh dear. Why is it between using the glue and just putting it down for 5 minutes, it then seems to bung up, but hey. There we go, so we're going to just put that piece on there, like so. Oops. Cut it off. Scissors. Oh, it's a bit like toast, it was lands. The gluey side down, hey. This piece is going to get stuck, glued, whatever you want to call it, to this panel. I like to use the wet glue so that I can move it around, she says, and then she's just moved it too much. Hey, and quick before it does actually decide to dry, it's just, that's better. Okay, so it doesn't matter. And you need to decide which way you want this to go up. So I've got leaves going up there and leaves going down there. Hey, whatever. Never mind, it's one of those. Now, if you're going to want to put something here in the middle, you need to make sure that it just stays within this portion here, because if it goes over, then the mechanism's not going to work, because it's going to be rubbing. You might just about get away with it, but not for the bit that goes down here, because obviously it's going to stop it from sliding that way. So that's my tip if you're going to decorate this. Now I am going to decorate it, and I was going to say I'm going to do some stamping, but I am going to do some stamping. So I've got some scrap, actually, and I'm going to stamp my tree. So I'm going to use cinnamon cider for that. Now this is a photopolymer stamp set, so ideally you want to have a something slightly soft with a bit of give underneath. I can't find my Stampin' Pierce mat, so this is one of the sponge things from the roller that you use to remove your bits from inside your dies. So I'm going to stamp that. So you want a bit of give, a bit of pressure, but not too much. So that's my cinnamon cider tree. I don't want to say that too quickly, dearie me. It's a bit of a mouthful. Put that out the way, and then I'm going to stamp the canopy. So I'm going to use Old Olive for this. And normally I would say don't push too hard into your foam ink pads, but mine's not particularly wet. So I'm going to, oops, see how that comes out. That's okay, it's not brilliant. And then, seeing as spring is in the air, I thought we could put some cherry blossoms on it. And this one, I don't actually need that. So there's a little stab that's got some like spots on it. So I'm going to just put some cherry blossom on here. So this is Flirty Flamingo. It's not too in your face as a pink, certainly not on the green. I had thought about using Magenta Madness, but I thought, that's probably a bit too much. Like that. So that's my tree and that's my canopy. And then ordinarily I would go and cut them out, but true Blue Peter fashion, I have actually done that already. And then just need to decide where I'm going to put them. Now I can, and this was my intention, is I'm going to put them here. Now this is where I look at it and think, it probably doesn't work too well against all the blues. So I did actually do a blue and different green earlier, and that actually may look a bit better. So this is Granny Apple Green and the Misty Moonlight. So you can, if we put it on here like that. No, I don't want that one, did I? I wanted this one. And then you can put a sentiment here. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to open out my card. Now this I'm going to glue on here. Now I need to be careful and make sure that I'm only gluing to this panel here, because the last thing you need is to glue it on both, and then this is not going to be able to move. So just be warned. I mean, alternatively, you could just use glue dots, but I am going to use some glue. Or you could use tape, just tape on that portion. Or I should say this portion, because that's the portion that's going to go when you turn it over. It's going to be on the left. So it is important that you make sure that you are not going too mad with your glue. I'm going to put this on here and try and keep my trunk to the left hand side of the score line, and then I know, because I didn't put anything above that, so that will work. So I'm just going to make sure that that's there, and I haven't got any glue behind, which is fine. So there's that, and then we're going to put the canopy on. So I'm going to put this on with dimensionals. I know, I do have them to hand. And again, you need to be careful where you're putting the dimensionals on here, because you don't want a large one that will stick to what's behind. So the easiest thing is to use the minis. If you use the mini dimensionals, you can just add them to the actual branch, and you know that it's not going to go, if you can see, put one here as well, I think. So if you notice, I've made sure that they're not, you can't see them there. That's that. Oops, no. Of course, if you don't want to use double-sided paper, you could just use an alternative colour and cardstock and emboss it. There's all sorts of things that you can do with this fold. And it's actually fairly quick to make. And you also want to make sure that your tree doesn't overhang too much, because I know if a little bit of an overhang, it will still fold and fit into, oops, that's it, the envelope. Like so. So I'm not too worried about that. So that's my tree. So I need to put a sentiment on here. I don't know what I'm going to do. See what we've got in the stamp set. So we have a thinking of you, I believe in you, hello, you truly inspire me, thank you, and friendships refresh the soul. I think I'm actually going to use friendships refresh the soul. I don't usually use sentiments like that, but I kind of feel like that today. That's inspired me. Who's noticed that on the photopolymer stamp sets now that they actually put the stamps on the inside, so this is on the inside of the front of the cover, so you can then put your stamps directly onto there. I still keep my cello bits because I don't want them sticking to all of the case. So that's a let's see, now I need, let me go. Friendship. Yep. Right, now I'm just going to stamp that in. I was going to say Night of Navy, but I'm not too sure where that's gone. I did have it. Oh well, it's going to have to be Misty Moonlight then. So I've got the ink, I just don't have the cardstock. Hey ho. So we're just going to stamp that. I could die cut this. But I think I'm actually just going to cut around it with my scissors. Don't need that bit, I'll keep that for another time. So, and it's up to you whether you go square on or if you want to go fussy around. Just going to start and take off excess, and then I'm going to go around it. Just realised I just removed it from where you can see. That's not very good of me, is it? There you go. And the trick is to move your paper, not your scissors. Obviously there comes a point when you actually do need to lift the scissors and start a fresh bit. But I think I might have gone a bit too far on that one. And obviously you don't want to be cutting off any letters. And how whether you go in and out, all the fussy bits is up to you. I'm kind of, I would say lazy, but I'm not that lazy. But sometimes I'll just kind of make it look as if I've spent a lot of time. Right, how are we looking? Sometimes you think you need to go and trim little bits off, but be wary of that, because I've been known to actually do that and cut something off completely, so it's not necessarily a good idea. Let's just go around this bit a bit. That's it. Don't like that bit. And as I said, you can go mad, and or you can just make it quick. Okay, that's better. Right. So I'm going to put that on here. Now, the $64 million question is, do I need to add something behind that so that it stands out a bit more? And I've got a sneaking suspicion that the answer is yes, but I can't decide what. I could put some more, I could just put it on white, but then again I could have just stamped on that. That would have been easy. I'm just going to go with this. That's what I've done, so I'm going to go with that. When I come to take a photograph, you may see something slightly different, but hey, half the fun of making a card is actually decorating the card and coming up with ideas. Right, put some dimensionals on that. These are just what's left of one of the sheets of the foam. It's the bits that go around the edge. Don't want to waste anything. Oops. Normally I'd say it was easy to take that off, but it just doesn't want to say, doesn't want to come off. Now, do I want to open this up and put it in the middle? I guess I should. Or thereabouts. And then that's it. So that's my card. Let's move all these bits out of the way. Don't think you need to see them. So there's my Seesaw card. I think I might make another one of these. But as I said, it's easy. The trick is just to be methodical with it. And as I said, when it comes to putting the paper on, then you need to just glue as you go so that you don't end up with bits that you can't remember where they go. But it's not too onerous, so the back of mine looks like that. Okay, so I'm going to love you and leave you now. A couple of quick reminders. Card and a Cuppa next week, which Trisha, Carol and Linda will be hosting over at Home Grange. So I'm not going to be there because I will still be in the States. But I will go virtual at 2:30. So I will do the virtual card and a cuppa in the afternoon as always. There's the couple of promotions. So we have the, she says, oh, I can't find my piece of paper, my reminder, because I'm just going complete blank at the moment. So we have the Seasons Are in Bloom promotion, which is the 20% off the mini Stampin cut and emboss, mini cut and emboss machine. And there's also 20% off select bundles. This one that I've used today being one of them. And then we've also got the Waves of the Ocean, which is a pre-release of a stamp set and dies from the 2022 annual catalogue. And then there are also some limited supplies of coordinating paper, gems and foil, which will only be available between now and when the new catalogue goes live, beginning of May. What else do I need to tell you? Next week, 16th, is the last day to order your Card and a Cuppa kits for April. So they're all prepped and ready to go. We just need to know who to send them to. So those will be sorted. I say the last thing you need to do is order them. So if you go to oakfieldcrafts.com and click on Classes, Kits, Tutorials at the top, and then a pop down will come down and you can then click on the Card and a Cuppa kits. what else was there to say? I'm sure there's probably something else, but it's been quite a quiet week so far, which is probably famous last words. But anyway, so I hope you've enjoyed seeing this card. I will pop the instructions once I've amended them. They're going to go on a blog post, but I will pop the link and stuff and the photos on of the actual card on here, and I will see you again next Wednesday for the virtual card and a cuppa. Take care and enjoy your week. Bye.